thought I'd do some videos about fibromyalgia and ME. I'm 37 years old now, and I was diagnosed with ME when I was about 18, but I've had it since I was about 14 years old. It meant that at school I didn't fit in very well. I was very subdued and very quiet because I was really ill, and I didn't know what was wrong with me at that time, but obviously now in hindsight I do know. I think one of the main things I want to say to everybody out there with a chronic illness is that it's not who you are. ME and fibromyalgia is not who I am. It limits what I can do, and it means that I can't function in the world like most people can, and I spend a lot of my time isolated and a lot of my time in bed. And there's nothing I would have liked more than to have a partner, have children and work. People assume, I think, when you're disabled that all your hopes and dreams disappear with the illness, and that you don't want the normal things in life that other people do, and that's not true. We do. We wish we could give to the world and be a more full part of the world. I'm going to do a series of videos, some a lot more medical than others, but just for this first one I wanted to say that ME is a very, very real illness, and so is fibromyalgia. I've had a lot of tests done over the years. My heart function isn't right, my output of my heart isn't right, my adrenal glands don't work properly, my hypothalamus doesn't work properly. I also have pernicious anemia, which is quite common amongst people with ME and fibromyalgia. My life is very, very restricted. I spend a lot of time, like I said earlier, in bed. I lie down every afternoon, and making social engagements is near on impossible because I often have to cancel at the last minute, and unfortunately some of the time people don't understand why, because I look absolutely fine and nobody can tell to look at me there is anything wrong with me at all. Having had ME for over 20 years, I think I've learned how to handle it maybe and how to cope with it better than I used to at the beginning, but it is still a very lonely, isolating illness, and for that reason that's why I started going on the internet and looking for information and trying to connect with people who have the same illness as me, and Facebook has been very, very useful for that. I've made some amazing friends on there and connected with people all over the world that completely understand what it feels like to not be able to function in a world where you so desperately want to belong. I think the worst part of my illness has been how it's affected my heart. Apparently about 2% of people with ME and fibromyalgia are affected with their hearts. I also have a mitral valve prolapse, which is a leaky heart valve, which can go along with fibromyalgia. It means a lot of the time it's very hard for me to get up from lying down. My blood pressure plummets and I get a lot of heart race and tachycardia and irregular heart rhythms, which can be very frightening, and I've been taken in hospital quite a lot because of this. But like I said, I don't want this one to be too medical. What I want from this one is to just get used to, I guess, doing this type of thing, because it's not easy, and just to give other people out there with my illness hope that you're not alone, and that there are people out there who realise that fibromyalgia, ME, lupus, POTS, any of these invisible chronic illnesses is not who you are. That we understand that you want to be a part of the world, and that you have hopes and desires and dreams just like everybody else, and unfortunately it's not easy to live the way you would want to live. I think that there at the moment is a lot of research going on about ME and fibromyalgia. Will they ever find a cure? Will they ever be able to pin it down so that people understand more about it. I don't know the answer to that, but what I do know is that people like me will never give up, will never surrender to this illness, and will never ever believe that one day things will change. Because if we did give up that hope, then there's no point fighting. There's no point trying to encourage each other to live the best life that we can. And all we ask of well people is just not to feel sorry for us or to give us sympathy, but just to understand that we're doing the best that we can with a very, very real illness. And even when we look okay, that it's not because we're lazy, and it's not because we don't want to see you and we don't want to mix with you and we don't want to work. It's because we feel so ill that sometimes it's just hard to even sit up, that it's hard just to keep our eyes open and talk. And just please try and understand that we're doing the best that we can. And I believe things will get better. I believe the recognition of these illnesses will get better. And all the people in the years that have fought for us to have this illness acknowledged, we're just really grateful too. And we now are the ones that have to keep this going and have to get the message out there that, you know, people with ME, people with fibro, people with these invisible illnesses still have a part to play in the world, that their lives aren't written off, that we're not just on the scrap heap, but when we're able, we can be positive members of society, and that we too have a place in this world.